Today, I am going to speak on a fascinating yet dangerous creature of the rainforest, the poison dart frog. These tiny frogs, found mainly in Central and South America, may look harmless with their bright and beautiful colors. But behind their striking appearance lies one of nature's deadliest secrets. Poison dart frogs are among the most fascinating creatures in the animal kingdom, admired for their dazzling beauty, yet feared for their deadly defense. These tiny amphibians are native to the tropical rainforests of Central and South America, with a majority of species found in countries such as Colombia, Brazil, Ecuador, and Costa Rica. They thrive in humid, warm environments where there is plenty of vegetation, moisture, and insect life to sustain them. Although they are most commonly associated with dense rainforests, some species can also be found in more open areas near streams and rivers where the air is damp and the ecosystem supports their survival. Despite their relatively limited range, these frogs play a vital role in the biodiversity of their habitats and have captured the attention of scientists, explorers, and nature enthusiasts around the world. One of the most remarkable aspects of poison dart frogs is their size. Unlike many other poisonous or venomous animals that rely on their large stature or aggressive behavior to intimidate predators, these frogs are incredibly small. Most species range from about half an inch to 2 inches in length, which means they can easily fit into the palm of a human hand. Their minute bodies might suggest vulnerability, but in reality, they are far from defenseless. What they lack in size, they make up for with chemical weaponry hidden in their skin, making them one of nature's most extraordinary paradoxes. Tiny creatures with immense capacity for harm. This combination of small size and extreme potency has made them both intriguing and alarming to humans who study them. Perhaps the most distinctive feature of poison dart frogs is their brilliant coloration. These frogs display a dazzling array of hues, including bright yellows, vibrant reds, striking blues, and even combinations of contrasting patterns that appear almost painted onto their bodies. This rainbow of colors is not for beauty alone. It serves as a natural warning system, a strategy known as aposematism. By flashing these warning signals, poison dart frogs communicate to potential predators that they are not safe to eat. A bird or animal that makes a mistake of attacking one quickly learns never to try again. Interestingly, the intensity of their colors often correlates with their toxicity, meaning the more vivid the frog, the more dangerous it is likely to be. This unique use of color has made poison dart frogs a subject of scientific study in the fields of biology, ecology, and even pharmacology. What makes them even more unique is that their deadly toxins do not come from their own bodies, but from the diet they consume in the wild. These frogs feed primarily on ants, termites, beetles, and other small insects that contain toxic alkaloids. Over time, the frogs absorb these compounds and store them in their skin, creating the potent poisons that make them infamous. When raised in captivity and fed on non-toxic diets, poison dart frogs lose their deadly abilities, proving that their toxicity is directly linked to the environment in which they live. This dependence on habitat for their unique traits highlights just how interconnected they are with the rainforest ecosystem. The poison carried by poison dart frogs is one of the most lethal natural substances known to science, and it has fascinated researchers for decades because of both its deadly power and its potential medical uses. The primary toxin produced by these frogs is called batrachotoxin, a potent chemical that affects the nervous system. Unlike venom, which must be injected through a bite or sting, the poison of these frogs is present on their skin. Simply touching in the wild can be enough to transfer small traces of the toxin, which is why many predators quickly learn to avoid them after one encounter. For their size, the amount of poison they produce is extraordinary. Just a single frog of some species, such as the golden poison dart frog of Colombia, carries enough toxin to kill up to 10 adult humans or as many as 20,000 mice. This level of toxicity makes them not only the most dangerous of amphibians, but among the deadliest animals in the entire natural world. The way this poison works inside the body is both terrifying and scientifically remarkable. Batrachotoxin targets the sodium channels in nerve and muscle cells. Normally, these channels open and close to allow signals to pass along nerves and cause muscles to contract and relax. The toxin disrupts this process by binding to the sodium channels and forcing them to remain permanently open. As a result, the nerves are unable to reset or send new signals. This continuous activation leads to a chain reaction where muscles contract uncontrollably and then become paralyzed. The most dangerous outcome occurs when the muscles of the diaphragm and heart are affected. With the diaphragm paralyzed, breathing stops, and the paralysis of the heart leads to cardiac failure. In high enough doses, death can occur rapidly, sometimes within minutes, depending on the amount of toxin introduced into the body. What makes poison dart frog toxins even more fascinating is that they have no known natural antidote. Once the poison enters the bloodstream, there is very little that can be done to reverse its effects. This is one of the reasons indigenous tribes of South America were able to use it so effectively in hunting. By carefully extracting the toxin from the skin of these frogs and applying it to the tips of their blow darts, hunters could bring down prey quickly and efficiently, even large animals, because the poison would enter the bloodstream and paralyze the target. The effectiveness and reliability of the poison gave it both cultural and practical significance for these communities, demonstrating how humans have long recognized and harnessed the power of these tiny creatures. Although the toxin is incredibly deadly, modern science is also exploring its possible benefits. Because batrachotoxin interacts with nerve signals in such a precise way, researchers believe it may hold clues to developing new medicines, particularly in areas such as pain management or neurological research. By studying how the poison blocks nerve function, scientists may one day create synthetic compounds that mimic or modify its effects of medical treatments. This paradox of danger and potential usefulness is part of what makes poison dart frogs and their toxins such a subject of fascination. Despite their tiny size, the poisons they produce demonstrate the immense chemical power that can be hidden in the natural world. For centuries, poison dart frogs have held an important place in the lives of indigenous people living in the rainforests of Central and South America. Long before scientists began to study these creatures, local tribes had already discovered their deadly potential and found practical ways to use it for survival. The most well-known association between these frogs and humans is the use of their potent toxins in hunting. Indigenous hunters learned that the bright, colorful frogs carry deadly poisons in their skin, and that by carefully extracting and applying this poison to the tips of blow darts or arrows, they could create weapons powerful enough to kill prey instantly. The process was delicate and required both skill and knowledge passed down from one generation to the next. Typically, hunters would rub the tips of their darts against the backs of the frogs, transferring just enough of the toxin to be effective without wasting it. This method allowed them to hunt monkeys, birds, and other animals with ease, providing food for their communities in a dense and challenging rainforest environment. The reliance on poison dart frogs for hunting illustrates the deep connection indigenous people have with their environment. Rather than seeing the frog only as a dangerous creature to be feared, they recognized its potential and respected its role in their survival. This respect is a hallmark of indigenous cultures, where every element of the natural world is seen as interconnected. The frogs were not killed in large numbers, but used carefully and sustainably. Hunters often release the frogs after obtaining the poison, ensuring that the species continue to thrive in the ecosystem. This balance shows a remarkable understanding of nature, one that modern society often overlooks. The tribes did not exploit the frogs in a way that threatened their existence. Instead, they integrated them into their cultural practices in a manner that preserved both the frogs and the forest. Beyond their practical use in hunting, poison dart frogs also carried cultural and spiritual significance for many tribes. The bright colors and lethal abilities of these frogs often place them in myths, stories, and rituals that explain the mysteries of the natural world. Some tribes saw them as symbols of strength and danger, small yet powerful beings that embody the idea that appearances can be deceiving. Their poison was treated with reverence, a reminder of both the dangers and the gifts the rainforest provided. In some cases, the frogs and their toxins were incorporated into initiation rituals or symbolic practices, reflecting the belief that they held a form of spiritual energy. This unique relationship between indigenous people and poison dart frogs is an example of how human cultures adapt to and coexist with their environments. By observing nature closely, tribes were able to uncover properties of these frogs and turn them into a resource that ensured survival. At the same time, their use of the frogs reflected a cultural worldview that emphasized respect for nature's power. Even today, The stories of how indigenous people use poison dart frogs remain an important reminder of the deep wisdom found in traditional knowledge and the intimate bond between humans and the natural world. Poison dart frogs, despite their small size, play an essential role in maintaining the delicate balance of the rainforest ecosystem. Like many amphibians, they act as both predators and prey, forming an important link in the food web. By feeding on ants, termites, beetles, and other small insects, they help regulate insect populations that might otherwise grow uncontrollably and damage the environment. In turn, they serve as food for certain snakes and birds that have developed resistance to their toxins. This interconnected relationship shows how even the smallest creatures contribute to the stability and health of the rainforest. Without them, insect populations might become imbalanced, and the predators that rely on them could suffer as well, demonstrating how crucial their presence is for the larger ecological system. Unfortunately, these remarkable frogs are facing increasing threats that endanger their survival. One of the greatest challenges they face is habitat destruction caused by deforestation. As vast areas of rainforest are cleared for agriculture, logging, and urban expansion, the natural homes of these frogs are disappearing at an alarming rate. Because poison dart frogs rely on specific environmental conditions, moisture, vegetation, and the presence of certain insects, they are highly sensitive to even small changes in their habitat. When forests are fragmented or destroyed, many species lose the ability to survive and reproduce. Climate change is another serious threat to their existence. Rising global temperatures and shifts in rainfall patterns affect the delicate balance of the ecosystems these frogs depend on. Many amphibians, including poison dart frogs, are especially vulnerable to changes in temperature and humidity because their skin plays a key role in respiration and moisture absorption. Even slight disruptions can lead to declines in populations. Diseases, particularly fungal infections like chytridiomycosis, have also devastated amphibian species around the world, and poison dart frogs are no exception. This deadly fungus infects their skin and disrupts vital functions, leading to mass die-offs in many regions. Adding to these natural threats is the pressure from the illegal pet trade. Because of their bright colors and striking patterns, poison dart frogs are highly sought after by collectors around the world. Many are captured from the wild and sold in markets, often leading to declines in local populations. While captive breeding programs exist, illegal collection continues to threaten the stability of wild frog populations, especially when combined with habitat loss and disease. Protecting poison dart frogs is not only about saving a single group of species, but about preserving the broader health of the rainforest ecosystem. Their decline signals deeper problems in the environment, serving as an indicator species that reflects the overall condition of their habitat. By conserving them, we are also protecting countless other species that share the rainforest, from insects to birds and mammals. Furthermore, the unique toxins they produce hold potential for scientific and medical research, meaning their loss could also mean the disappearance of valuable knowledge that might benefit humanity. For all these reasons, it is essential to safeguard these tiny but extraordinary creatures, recognizing their importance in nature and taking action to ensure that future generations can continue to marvel at their beauty and their power.